In this video, we'll explore commonly suggested solutions to the 2023 Israel-Gaza conflict, look at their complexities, and go over the actions Israel decided to take. At the end, you'll have the option to take on a difficult challenge. What would you do if you were Israel's prime minister? On the morning of October 7, 2023, Hamas launched an attack from the Gaza Strip on Israel, causing over 1,400 deaths and abducting 230 individuals, from infants to the elderly. Israel's response included intense airstrikes and a subsequent land invasion in Gaza, resulting in numerous Palestinian casualties, including children. Israel's official goal is to eliminate Hamas, or at least significantly weaken it, in order to prevent similar future attacks, and also to safely return its captive citizens. Some supported Israel's retaliation. Others criticized its actions for escalating the overall casualty count. And while fewer casualties naturally sound better, it's often easier to critique actions than to suggest practical alternatives, particularly in such a complex situation. So let's go over some of the suggested alternatives. The first one is an old one that on paper no one should oppose: peace and a two-state solution. Hamas governs the Gaza Strip, often grouped with the West Bank as Palestine. Hamas is firmly against peace with Israel, and their official charter explicitly calls for the killing of Jews worldwide, making peace negotiations virtually impossible. Additionally, it is less commonly known that Israel has extended several peace offers to the Palestinians. For example, Yasser Arafat turned down a peace proposal at the 2000 Camp David talks and didn't present a counteroffer, which left mediator Bill Clinton frustrated. In 2007, Mahmoud Abbas also rejected another peace offer. Returning land without a formal peace agreement. This was partly implemented specifically in Gaza. In 2005, the Prime Minister of Israel, Ariel Sharon, forcibly removed all Jewish settlements and military personnel from the Gaza Strip, granting Palestinian self-determination. However, the subsequent election of Hamas in 2006 led to the firing of thousands of rockets at Israeli civilians. In response, Israel, along with Egypt, increased the blockade of Gaza to stop the inflow of weapons, primarily from Iran. Over the years, Hamas improved its rocket capabilities, leading Israel to develop the Iron Dome system for intercepting them in midair. From Israel's viewpoint, granting Palestinians increased autonomy without a formal peace agreement has proven unsustainable. Also, this option isn't currently relevant, as our focus is on potential alternative actions for the October 7th attack. So let's go over some of the relevant alternatives being proposed. Precise targeting to minimize civilian casualties. Unfortunately, this is often harder than it sounds. Numerous Hamas militants have confirmed that they deliberately place their facilities and tunnels under civilian areas, including Gaza's biggest hospital, Al-Shifa. Israel is using precision strikes and advanced evacuation warnings through text and leaflets dropped from the sky. However, despite these efforts, civilian casualties, including children, often occur. This grim reality is a common feature in complex armed conflicts, as evidenced by the thousands of civilian casualties in the fight against ISIS. Ultimately, a complete ceasefire is the only way to fully avoid unintended loss of life. Implementing a complete ceasefire. This popular solution was offered from the beginning by several countries such as Iran, Syria, Russia, China, and North Korea. From Israel's perspective, a ceasefire seems unrealistic. Hamas killed 1,400 Israelis, mostly civilians, and kidnapped over 230 individuals, ranging from babies to elders. The brutality of the attack included burning people alive, torture, brutal rape, mutilation, beheadings, and the killing of babies and pregnant women. The acts were so horrific that they earned Hamas the nickname Hamas ISIS. These actions were confirmed through videos Hamas themselves took and uploaded, leaving no room for doubt. In one instance, they even executed a family so committed to peace that they held weekly peace kite events near the Gaza border, so the citizens of Gaza would see many Israelis still believe in peace. Hamas also deliberately chose to attack during a peace festival full of young Israelis and foreigners, further showcasing their disregard for life and peace. For Israel, a ceasefire would mean living next to a neighbor who is committed to repeating such acts the moment they get the chance. Therefore, from the Israeli perspective, a ceasefire is a future threat to civilian lives. Deploying elite forces against Hamas. Simply said, in contrast to movies, sending elite soldiers into an underground maze of booby-trapped tunnels filled with tens of thousands of Hamas militants would be a suicide mission with no results. Sending unlimited supplies to prevent crisis in Gaza. While not an actual solution to the situation, it's worth noting that Israel is trying to prevent supplies from reaching Hamas, who use these resources to stay concealed and continue their attacks. For instance, they use fuel to power ventilation systems that help them stay underground. Cutting off Hamas funding. While this is yet another approach that doesn't resolve the current conflict, cutting off Hamas funding has been attempted multiple times without success. The organization is financially backed by countries like Iran and Qatar, and also diverts a large portion of aid money meant for Gaza. So much funding has been funneled into Hamas that several of its leaders have become billionaires and now reside abroad. UN intervention. Although UN intervention may seem appealing, it falls short in practice. The UN lacks the capability and willingness to handle large-scale conflicts, as seen in its inability to intervene effectively in the Ukraine-Russia war or against ISIS. The issue is beyond its scope to manage. Now that we've examined these ideas, ask yourself, if you were the Prime Minister of Israel, what would you do following October 7th? If there's a practical alternative we missed, please mention it in the comments. Otherwise, it might be worth considering that what Israel is doing is the lesser of evils when taking into account these terrible circumstances. Thank you for watching. If you liked our video, please like and subscribe.